everyone. Welcome to this new episode of our Student Spotlight series where we are able to showcase some of the work our past students have done. I'm Charlotte, one of the outreach coordinators here at CCIR, and it's our pleasure to have Kenneth with us, who did the one-on-one mentorship. So firstly, Kenneth, can you just introduce yourself? So tell us where you're from, what year you are in school, and then what made you seek out CCIR.
Hello, my name is Kenneth Bettany. I'm currently in 11th grade and I'm from Indonesia. So what made me like choose CCIR was specifically because I wanted to go into like research. My school doesn't really have a strong program on research or helping students with research. So my mom suggested me this program and I figured why not just give it a try.
Great. And then can you give us a general overview of what your course was about and what your topic was?
So I initially applied with what is it, a focus in engineering. But after I had my talk with like Dr. George Anwar, he mentioned that like a lot of ideas in engineering has already been solved. There's not much to delve into with my level of understanding. So I decided to choose a topic which is about agriculture and mango specifically, which more relates to me, especially in a tropical country like Indonesia. So my topic is about how to like preserve mangoes using a chemical substance called zeolite.
Interesting. And had you had experience with this subject before or with this general kind of research process before?
In terms of the subject, not just a prerequisite like basic biology and chemistry, I guess is all you need. In terms of like research, I've done like small levels of research, not to like this level where I need to like test these things using specific tools, but yeah, not that deep.
Okay. And what interested you in this topic?
Oh, well, specifically mangoes. My grandma has a lot of mangoes. She grows a lot of them, especially during mango season, which is around next month. And then she always has too much mangoes on her hand, always goes moldy or spoils very quickly. And then I decided just like, oh, I should help her with this. What are some other ways to basically preserve the mangoes longer? And there are some ways to preserve a mango. There's one using a fridge, cooling. Cooling is one of them. Others is using chemicals, but over like if you use too much, you consume too many fruits which are treated with chemicals, it could of course lead to dangerous side effects. And there's also modified atmospheric packaging, and it could lead to browning of the flesh of the fruit and carbon dioxide injury to the fruit. So I just thought, oh, Indonesia, people here are not very blessed with resources, so and zeolite is pretty cheap, so why not just treat mango with zeolite and see how it goes? Maybe that's another solution that we're trying to figure out right now.
Nice. And then now we'll just shift into discussing the specifics of your research paper. So you've already discussed with us the topic. Can you walk us through what your research methods and research process was like? So what type of research did you conduct? How was the process of finding data?
Oh, well, so we wanted to test whether zeolite of different concentration to the mass of the mangoes would actually affect the ripeness of the mango. So our goal is to find out whether zeolite actually delayed the ripening process of mangoes. So we put selected amount of mangoes with like five mangoes with around the same weight and color and everything. And then we put it to 20%, 20, 40, 60, and 80%. And we figured out whether like over 7 days, if there's a change in like if the one with zeolite, if that one will ripe faster or will ripe slower than the control group. And we figured that out by using a glucose strip, typically used for diabetes. However, since it's not, I tested the mangoes it was not during mango season, so a few months ago. So every time there's like a mistake, I had to throw out the mangoes and I had to like find mangoes which are very hard, which is why I pushed it back. So that's one, and then yeah. And there's also some problems with the humidity since we put it in an airtight box. The mangoes couldn't respirate, so that probably also affected the results of the experiment. So we're gonna push it around to August, where it's mango season, where we could test it frequently.
Okay, so you're gonna redo the testing in
Yeah,
August.
yeah. I did
Okay,
that
interesting.
3 times and it didn't work.
Interesting. Okay. And then can you walk us through kind of what you're expecting to find? Do you think that since you haven't conducted the experiment yet fully, do you think that your findings will support your hypothesis, or what are you expecting to find?
Well, the first test I've done, so far showed that yes, ethylene did in fact reduce or increase the time it took for the mangoes to ripe. However, mold played a big part because every time you want to prick the mango for the sample of juice, you need to like make a big hole. So I felt like that mold played a big part and was it skewing the results. But so far, from what I've seen, I think yes, it would. Zeolite is supposed to delay the ripening process of mangoes.
Interesting. And then can you give us what your thoughts are on what the importance of your findings are to the general public or to the field?
Well, specifically in Indonesia, or you could look at it through like Southeast Asia, for example, where people are not blessed with resources such as fridge. This could provide another alternative since zeolite is pretty accessible to the public. You just need to have zeolite and tea bags for it to work. So yeah, I feel like it will concern a lot of people because a lot of people, yeah, they don't have the resources for fridges and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds super important. Your experiment seems very interesting and super unique, which is really cool. Now we're going to shift into discussing just your general experience with CCIR. So firstly, can you tell us what your experience was like in the program doing a high-level research project like this as a high school student?
Well, honestly, it's pretty hard balancing everything, balancing sports, academics, and research. But because CCR has been very helpful in finding a right time for me, I feel like I've been able to work I've been able to work in the meetings effectively with Dr. George Anwar, preparing for what I need before the session. And then if I need help with something, I could always contact CCIR and they'll always provide.
Great. And then what was this research process and experience like compared to papers or projects that you've done in school previously?
Mm, Well, for this research, specifically mine, it's really long. I mean, it lasted for around 6 months. There's always problems and stuff. Whereas in school, there's only one way. Just go with it. There's not many problems you encounter. For example, one of the problem of mine was actually to find a tool to test the ripeness of a mango, and I had to like contact multiple universities in my area. And then Dr. George Anwar, my mentor, also linked me to a couple of people over in Singapore. So yeah, it's very different because you need high level technology for my research.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and then my next question is about kind of the aspect of mentorship in our programs. So in our programs, we really like to emphasize the aspect of mentorship as opposed to the traditional teacher role, where our mentors don't just transfer information onto you as a student, but really guide you through your own discoveries and learning process. So can you tell us what your experience was like with your mentor as you moved through the first kind of teaching oriented half of the course into the latter, more research oriented half of the course, and how they helped guide you through that?
So my mentor, George Anwar, really helped me. So when I first started the program, we started to like, because I had a topic and then I felt like it wasn't specific enough. And then after I did some research, I figured, oh, that was probably not a topic that best suited me regarding my situation in Indonesia right now, because there's not much facilities that I could use to cater to my research. So we decided to broaden our research and go towards the more agricultural side of my research, which Indonesia is very strong for.
Right.
And after that, we just decided to dig deep, find solutions, and come up with a methodology to, hopefully execute this research as planned.
Do you think this course has given you any insights into your future? So maybe what you're thinking about in terms of what you want to study in university or what you want to do as a career?
Yeah, because this program, specifically George Anwar, made me realize because he's also Indonesian, he's known some weaknesses and strengths of my country. So maybe he made me realize, oh, that a lot of usually engineering from Indonesia, they turn to financing. So I would like to be an engineer for my country because I figured that I saw it in my country that the engineering aspect of my country is not that strong. So maybe I want to study engineering and come back here to hopefully work for my country at some point.
Nice, nice. And then the last question for you, what would you say to someone who asked you what the value of doing a project or a program like this is, especially for a high school student?
I'll say because high school is very important, it's basically the fundamentals of what you want to be when you grow up. And this program makes you think about what you want to do. It will expose your weaknesses and your strengths, and later it will guide you to what you want to do in the future. So researching something is not only beneficial for you, but also the community as well.
That's great. I think those are great insights. So that wraps up the end of our Spotlight interview. Thank you so much for chatting to me, and congratulations again on your nomination to our Spotlight series.